Well, a good Friday to you from Pastor Jonathan and Robertsdale UMC. Welcome to this Lenten Devotional, our second to last, I cannot believe it, reading number 38, day 38 in this 40-day journey. Tomorrow, Holy Saturday, we'll do our 39th reading together. Technically, day 40 will be Easter Sunday. We will celebrate together 6:30 a.m. at the Honeybee Park Pavilion at our sunrise service. 8:30 and 10 a.m. in our sanctuary and online at 10 a.m. I'm standing here in the fellowship hall where our kids will be Sunday at 10 a.m. for Kids Jam Worship. They're here every Sunday, and as you can see behind me, it's been an amazing environment as they've been learning about the meaning of Easter all Lenten season. So when they get here to celebrate on Sunday, they're going to know what we're celebrating, and we hope that we have a lot of visitors. So if you have kids, grandkids, neighbors, please bring them between the ages of 4 and completed 5th grade. Miss Marie, our children's director, is amazing. It has been a wonderful season. My kids have brought stuff home that I've never even gotten to do before, like a resurrection garden that we've been watering so that we can watch it grow as life comes from what looks lifeless. So it's such an exciting weekend. Today is Good Friday, traditionally the day that we observe and think about the death of Jesus the Christ. And we've actually been doing that for about a week now. We heard the Passion narrative last Sunday, and in our gospel reading today, as we close out the book of Mark, we'll read verses 1 through 8 of Mark 16. This is actually the beginning of the resurrection narrative. Tomorrow we have a very special reading that may or may not even be in your translation of the Bible, Mark chapter 16 verses 9 through 20, and we'll talk about why that's a special passage tomorrow. But today, what I'd like to do, as we've done on other days and other videos, is I'd like to read this passage slowly. And I would like for you to listen for the voice of the Lord, to highlight a particular word or phrase or idea from this passage that connects with you in a special way, that maybe sounds a little louder, maybe as the words are in your head, that one that comes in bold and that kind of gets your attention, to meditate through the rest of the day and say, God, what's that about? Why that word? What's getting my attention about that? And as we look toward Easter Sunday and think about resurrection all weekend long, what is it that God is speaking to you through this resurrection story that maybe He has a particular word for you? I'm going to read this slowly. I'm not going to preach this today because I don't want to use all my ideas. No, I'm just kidding. There's so much, lifetimes worth of sermons have been preached on the resurrection of Jesus, of course. But I will save my preaching for Sunday morning at the sunrise service and in our sanctuary services, where we will hear this passage again. Mark chapter 16, verses 1 through 8. When the Sabbath was over, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome bought spices so they might go to anoint Jesus' body. Very early on the first day of the week, just after sunrise, they were on their way to the tomb, and they asked each other, "Who will roll away the stone from the entrance of the tomb?" But when they looked up, they saw that the stone, which was very large, had been rolled away. As they entered the tomb, they saw a young man dressed in a white robe sitting on the right side, and they were alarmed. "Don't be alarmed," he said. "You are looking for Jesus the Nazarene, who was crucified. He has risen. He is not here. See the place where they laid him. But go tell his disciples and Peter, he is going ahead of you into Galilee. There you will see him, just as he told you." Trembling and bewildered, the women went out and fled from the tomb. They said nothing to anyone because they were afraid. Take a moment to just pause and say, Lord, Holy Spirit, what did I hear in that is your voice trying to get my attention? What about that are you trying to use to speak to me today? It is no accident that we read this text today on this Good Friday. Speak, Lord, for your servants are listening. I would love for you to share in the comments what word or phrase or idea impacts you about this. I'll share mine, and this isn't what I'm going to preach on Sunday, but the phrase "and Peter," right? But go tell his disciples and Peter. We've seen Peter throughout the Gospel of Mark, and his special relationship with Jesus, his special personality, as he tends to be the disciple that speaks first, but that's also what makes him such a significant disciple of Jesus. He was the first one in Mark's Gospel to confess Jesus as the Christ. You are the Christ. Who do people say I am? Well, some say a prophet, some say John the Baptist. Who do you say I am? You are the Christ. This was the same declaration that we heard the Sanhedrin turn into a question when they were accusing Jesus after his arrest. You are the Christ, ? Son of the Blessed One. Peter denied Jesus 3 times. Peter ran away weeping after he did the very thing he swore he wouldn't do, disown Jesus. And I just think if Peter can be singled out like that, with all of his failings, with all of his high highs and his low lows, there with Jesus up on the Mount of Transfiguration, but also there with Jesus in the most distressing moment of his life in the Garden of Gethsemane, saying, my heart is deeply troubled to the point of death. Peter, who swears he would never do anything to shame Jesus or disappoint him. And he's the first one who's really called out as disowning him in such a blatant way. Go tell the disciples and Peter. Don't forget to include Peter. Peter's not out of the story. Peter's not discounted. And in John chapter 20 and 21, we see a special story between Jesus and Peter after Jesus is raised from the dead that John elaborates on. But that just sticks out to me because it gives me a lot of hope that there's no way that I can fail Jesus too much if my heart is truly to follow him, that we are never beyond redemption, that we will always be of use to God if we desire to be used by him, that there's always a bringing back into the fold after a need for grace, that grace is always there, that his mercies are new every morning, even for Peter. I'd love to know what stuck out to you in that passage. A different word, a different phrase, a different idea. Let this resurrection story come to life this weekend for us. Let it bring us to life as we hear from the Lord and as we seek to live in response to what we've heard. God bless you. I'll see you again tomorrow as we observe Holy Saturday, finishing out the Gospel of Mark, and then look forward to celebrating with you Easter Sunday morning. God bless you, grace and peace.